Lots of doppelganger missions in a row this time, and you know what that means? Trivia time! By the way, I have no idea why they have Route 99 as the representative theme for Sonic Advance 3. Where the hell is Chaos Angel? I mean, that was the best theme. That was one of the best themes in the series, and they choose Route 99? Really? Advance 3 has such a great soundtrack, and they choose one of the weakest songs just because it's the first level? Like, it's not coming out of the dinky GBA sound chip, so at least it sounds better with the remix, but still. Also, I failed this mission the first time because the AI is actually pretty smart. Like, if it gets ahead of you in the first 2D section, then you're pretty much doomed. I don't really like this character mod anymore. It doesn't really feel like you're boosting when you're boosting. Like, the animation and model is really good, but even when you air boost, I don't really feel like I'm actually gliding. Not to mention you can't really climb walls or anything. So, and that would have been pretty cool in this level, but I guess you can't program the spike wisp in 3D, so. I like how there's alternate routes in this level, and like this level is pretty fun when you warm up to it, but it was just so tense playing this mission. Like, he gets so close to you. And that wall jumping tile was in shadow. How was I supposed to quickly react to that? But yeah, I'm going to be covering a lot more trivia here because this is basically a whole bunch of doppelganger missions in a row. And then I'll be showing off classic Shadow some more. The other version of the Sonic Adventure 2 debug menu is an SA2 preview prototype. It's worth noting that this is the only prototype you can load the menu in. SA2 the trial blanked every part of it except basic tests, while SA2 trial version doesn't have a title. It doesn't have a title PRS in its location. The background graphic isn't in this version's files, but it's mostly the same. The title has no logo with vertical lines red on one half and green on the right side. We can see that at this point in development, the game already had all of its stages listed. This version had a little extra data in the event test menu. Now you can see the total frame count, the current camera ID, and how many frames are being used. When you change the speed of a cutscene in this version, the new speed is briefly displayed, with 0.5 being the default. Unfortunately, since this is only a demo, you can only see this extra info for the 6 scenes that were included. The menu isn't the only debug feature we can find in preview though. By enabling a certain flag, you can find the game's hidden debug mode. When this is enabled, you can display various sets of data from the game used for debug purposes. These cover the screen obnoxiously and make you unable to see what you're doing. There's no button combos to make it appear. The menu can be manipulated through the D-pad though. The same no-clip mode from SA1's debug mode can actually be found by pressing X. Sonic's head will also follow the camera when L or R is pressed. This could also be done in SA1 via the Z button, but it's only enabled in debug mode this time. You can also toggle various collision displays. This mostly involves geometry, collision, and hitboxes for objects. In the final game, only the details at the bottom of the screen remain. Flat colors are a very common thing that you're going to be seeing. Pressing A and Y gets you a camera editor. Using this tool, you can roam freely and modify the properties of any camera on the stage. I wish I could do that in the actual game. Start is used to rotate the camera, for example. Yeah, the controls are really strange. I don't know why Start of all things was used. Using this tool, provided you remember how to do it, you can place your own cameras as well by pressing Start and B. You can also disable the camera's collision detection and view the data of active cameras with 2-player controls. The fourth controller is used here to activate an in-game sound test, which is misspelled as sound. You can actually use it to play sound effects. You need to press A and X to enter and B and X to exit, which is kind of weird. The only other version of the game that you can activate debug mode in is SA2 the Trial. Instead of displaying a message in this version, you hear one of the opening lines from the intro scene. Debug's like in the preview, except pressing Y on 2-player's controller lets you ride the metal harbored snowboard, which is exactly as useful as you'd expect in an area of the level that's not designed for it. In SE2 preview, the English voice track for what little cutscenes are in the game aren't properly implemented. So all the voice clips in them are in the wrong places. They're fine if you set the voices for Japanese though, so they must have recorded the Japanese dialogue first. In Sonic Adventure's E3 trial, the prototype of Sand Hill is actually a lot better than what we got in the final game. No, there's no annoying rising walls that constantly get in your way. It is boring though because of all the empty space, but imagine if they had put ramps there. It would have been great! Sonic's route is very empty and you need to awkwardly jump into a frog floating in a bubble at the end of the section to end the level. You need to cheat to enter Tails' route with Sonic, with floating, using codes. And Tails' route has a spring in it, launching you up really high so you stiffly drop afterwards, and a jumping rock snake ahead of you that is just there. Sand Hill's theme, after a minute, has an awkward high-pitched part ending its melody off in that prototype. It's just so sad that the prototype was better than it ended up being. Because it could have been so much better. This is actually a pretty annoying mission. I mean, I like how gigantic the hitboxes for the Chow are. Like, it's pretty merciful grabbing it. But I swear at one time, the Chow was there, and the next time I showed up, it wasn't there. Cream accelerates a lot faster than you, even though you're Sonic the Hedgehog. So how does that even make sense? She cheats! Look at her, she's just flying right ahead of you. It's so easy for her to get Chow that... I mean, look at this. It's a good thing there's leniency and that, like, you don't have to get every single Chow. Imagine how much more annoying the mission would be if you did. Instead, you only have to get, like, 11. And you can get more. So it's not really... Like, it's pretty annoying, but it's not entirely as bad as it could be. But still. In Sonic Unleashed HD, an NPC called Cassandra would appear where she's supposed to and give you the art book, but only if you got one of Unleashed DLC. So, they actually used the DLC in Unleashed to fix some glaring glitches. Which really makes me wonder why they didn't do that for 06. But yeah, we're going through another Doppelganger mission. Don't worry, I'm going to be cutting out some of them, cutting straight to the end. But for now, it just gives me an excuse to talk about more trivia. There's actually spotlights on Sonic Adventure 1's egg carrier that you can actually turn on and off by jumping onto them on the deck of the airship. But only before the ship crashes. After that, the spotlights are disabled. Act 1 and 2 of Skydeck take place on the right wing of the egg carrier. When you destroy the cannon, you go above the wing. You can actually see the hole where the cannon you destroyed used to be. At the end of Act 2, you can see the main deck in the background. Everything on the rear deck is visible. The damage you do to the egg carrier can be seen in the pre-rendered scene of it falling later. You can see that in that cutscene that the egg carrier is missing one of the segments of its right wing, which break off in Skydeck Act 2. The other wing is fully intact, proving that this was completely intentional. There's also a secret hidden in the egg carrier's armory. The room with Gamma's jet booster is the egg carrier's armory. And an elevator is actually in the corner of the room. And it sends you to an area slightly above the room's entrance. So you don't actually need the spring to get out of it, which isn't even there in the auto demo version. The elevator can be seen in the earliest footage of the game, and it was mistaken for the hot shelter behind Amy. In the original Japanese version, you could actually stand on the Burger Man mannequin's head. The City Hall clock is the only one moving like a real clock. It always starts at 10, but it moves once per minute, even while fighting Chaos Zero. But it resets once you leave the map, which is unfortunate. You can actually see the billboard advertising the Man 3 in the Eggwalker boss fight, because it uses an earlier version of that hub area. The auto demo has it incorrectly sized. The billboard shows a man wearing sunglasses with silhouettes walking away from explosions below him. stand inside of the entrance to Casinopolis, but not enough to load the stage. The camera will slowly pan upwards. When it reaches a certain height, it'll stay there until you move far enough away. It was probably going to be used for entering the level. Keep putting rings in the vault after the 400 rings that you put in, and at 5,000 rings, you'll build a statue of Sonic. So how long does that actually take? Is it canon that Sonic actually spent that much time doing this? That sounds like a waste of time. And there are actually boss-specific idle lines. Idling as Super Sonic doesn't actually let you hear his idle line though. You have to turn back into Sonic. And it's very hard to hear them because obviously the bosses will attack you while you're trying to hear them. And there's also two major secrets in Final Egg's last area. The first one is used for a mission in Mission Mode. You spin dash up a wall in the Sonic Doll area, or go there as Gamma via Spring for extra points. The next hidden area is just before the stage's end. A platform there appears to be stationary, but it's actually moving up and down at a very slow speed. It takes 5 minutes in real life to be able to get to it. On it, there's ladders above you. You can actually get 4 extra lives for your trouble, although I don't think that waiting for 5 minutes in a row was really worth it. In Skydeck Act 2, you start on the edge of the egg carrier's wing. If you head left from here, you'll find another part of the wing just like the one you started on. Head down that and avoid the obstacles like the spinning spike balls, and you'll get a shield and extra life. The prototype version of Green Forest music from SE2 had the drums be louder, and the prototype version of Live and Learn and Cityscape are just underwhelming instrumentals. It's amazing how much effect they can actually lose just from losing the lyrics. Sonic Jam's hub area called Sonic World was built from a very early version of Sonic Adventure. Do the two have similarities? There's features Sonic himself shares with his adventure counterpart. Sonic Jam Sonic's pointy model has about 30 different animations. That's small compared to SA1's, but he didn't really need that many, so that's a lot of effort they put into it. Unlike SA1, his current action doesn't seem to override any force ones though, which makes seeing them a lot simpler. He has animations used in SA1 later, like walking, running, falling, hanging off something with one hand. The next is an effect on Sonic's spines. When Sonic runs, jumps, or hits a spring in Sonic Jam, his spines will stretch slightly. Sonic's spines in SA1 also do this, but in Sonic Jam they seem to be attached to the animations rather than their own thing. And the ball that Sonic curls into when jumping pretty much behaves identically in each game. The texture it uses in Sonic Jam is very similar to the one seen in early footage of Sonic Adventure 1, but it has 2 white lines, while the SA1 one has only 1 line. Christmas 1998 decorations were the first ever DLC for SA1. Touching one of the Christmas trees displayed a message and played one of 3 Christmas carols with no lyrics. All the text is in Japanese no matter what, which is pretty lazy. Jingle bells, Joy to the World, and Silent Night can be heard, and you stop hearing them upon going to another part of Station Square since the music would reset in the old Dreamcast version. There is 1 tree in the hotel, 1 in the casino and the train station, 1 in front of the station in the main area, and 1 in City Hall. In the Dreamcast version of SA1, Chao died from just a few hits. They can also swim both up and down, making it impossible to pick them up sometimes. Chao Adventure on the VNU was more fun than the Tiny Chao Garden, but the updates to SA1's Chao system were needed to make it equally compatible with SA2. The Dreamcast version of SA1 was only at 30 frames per second, which isn't very good in a game about speed, but Generations on consoles was also 30 frames per second, and a lot of people like that, so it's not unplayable. 2 of the downloadable content packs for SA1 were Japanese player treasure hunts, released early in 1999. You could start them with a floating balloon, which is a very common way to start DLC. The text is only in Japanese. You need to find 5 real hedgehog photos in Station Square under a time limit. There were 13 DLC packs for SA1, not including menu themes. The photo's text will change if it's the last one you find. Another time treasure hunt for SA1 DLC was called Mr. Sega's Card Hunt. Find 6 QUO cards in the hub. The cards say Managing Director Yukawa, or Mr. Sega. Collecting each card displays a message signed by him. He was a well-known employee in Japan with cameos in Dreamcast titles. QUO is a prepaid card featuring him that could be used in restaurants, hotels, and stores. There's 3 cards in Station Square and 3 in the Mystic Ruins. After getting all cards, you jump into a blue balloon in the Mystic Ruins train station. The last card received gets you different text, and you can press Y to stop the challenge at any time, which is basically true for every DLC.